And we are back. What is going on, Pacer Nation? And welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice Pacers. Hey, what do you know, Derek? The Pacers win again. Two straight now for Indiana. They take care of business and kind of a little bit of a thriller down to the end against the Houston Rockets at home. The Pacers defeat them 132 to 129. And Derek, the Pacers finish and they are able to hold on. They improve to 29 and 23 on the season. So, Derek, this was a game that went back and forth. Houston, I felt like really from the end of the first quarter on, for the most part, led for a good chunk of this game. Then Indiana came back, and especially in that third quarter, man, they outscored the Rockets 38 to 24. So by 14-point swing. And then by the end of things, it was just enough where the Pacers were able to hold on. At one point, they were up by more than what they won by. But ultimately, it came down to the end. The Pacers were able to take care of business. Tyrese Halliburton had a nice finish to kind of seal that game a little bit. And the Pacers were able to hold on. How are you feeling about this game, man? A little bit of a too close for comfort in certain ways. But you know what? Wins are hard to get in any sport. I don't care, what you're doing, especially in professional sports, any given day, any team, even a team, like the Rockets who have a losing record, 23 and 27 now they fall to. Give me your reaction here of the Pacers kind of taking care of business, even though you look at it and you say, probably shouldn't have been that close.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll talk about some individual players here in a minute. But yeah, I kept mentioning it in the video just the other day was that this is a stretch here, Cody, where Indianapolis should be able to get some, they should be able to string together some wins, despite the fact that Tyrese Halliburton is still trying to get back to his normal minutes. This is one of those situations where, this was another very winnable game for you. You're on the last leg of a home stretch here before you're about to hit the road. So, you're trying to string together as many of these as humanly possible. And it is great to see Indiana come back from behind. I feel like we've seen a lot of these this year where it's just it's the way it is with the Pacers. You just can never you can just never give them a chance to put their foot on the gas. If they do and they start running things the way they want to, there's very few teams in the NBA that can score as quickly as this Indiana Pacers team can. So, I mean, it's great that they win another game, improve their record to 29 and 23. Like I said, they're in the midst of some really tight competition there on the back end of this Eastern Conference. So you have to try and finish these off. The main aspect to do with this game, the reason why the Pacers were able to figure it out, I mean, they shot 11% better from the field. That's going to definitely get you a lot of extra things there. It's kind of ironic because Indiana got out-rebounded by almost double in this game, Cody, which is crazy. I mean, I would never think that a Pacers team would be able to win the game by nearly getting out-rebounded by double the amount that they had. It definitely was a very strange way of going about it in this game. But like you said, that third quarter, when Indiana really started getting going in that mid-third quarter, they just never looked back. And from that point forward, they just had it under control.
Yeah, and the big reason why they took care of business, you mentioned it, shot 63%, 58 of their 86 attempts, or 54 of their 86 attempts. That's impressive right there, man, that they were able to be as efficient as they were able to. And, multiple different guys here on this team for the Pacers, contributing in big ways. Pascal Siakam continues to kind of be the leading scorer for the Pacers. He logged the most minutes here, finished with 29 points. Talking about, Miles Turner, 21 points from him. Tyrese Halliburton. I would say, Derek, this is the most minutes he's had in a while. He had 29 minutes and 18 points off of that 29 minutes. And then you have guys off the bench. TJ McConnell, 17 points, Buddy Hield, 12, Jalen Smith had 9. So, a couple different guys who were contributing well. And then you got, Neesmith not really having his type of night in terms of scoring from what we've been used to. He only finishes with 10 points. Didn't really attempt a whole lot of shots tonight, but still, it was enough to handle business. And, you're right. I mean, despite the fact that now, it feels like it's become more of a trend with the Pacers is to be getting out rebounded by a lot and being kind of destroyed in the paint. It is impressive they were able to take care of business. Now, you think, Derek, if the Pacers can be halfway decent even at getting rebounds right now, how much more could they be taking care of some of these bad teams? I really do wonder that, because I feel like it's all these second chance points, second chance opportunities that are keeping these teams in these games and allowing them, even if they miss the first or even second time, the Pacers' inability to get rebounds, it's really killing them, man. It really, really is. And so it's just allowing teams to get more opportunities. I mean, you look at it, Derek, just look at just the stats overall from the team perspective, right? Pacers, 86 attempts on the field goals. Overall, the Houston Rockets had 97 attempts, which is just insane. That's a ton of attempts there, and 25 3-point attempts. And so, they kept getting rebounds, they kept getting opportunities, and they kept allowing themselves to stay in the game. And the Pacers kept letting them hang around by not getting the rebound and not, ending drives like they should have done. And so I think that's a big reason, and that's kind of just been a big issue for this team. Seems like this last month, it's been an issue, if not more than that, with this Pacer team. It's like, man, you can shoot the lights out, but when it comes to playing defense and getting rebounds, you've really struggled, Derek. You have really struggled to do that and do that efficiently. And I think that's a big reason why, the Pacers win, but you're like, it felt like with how good you should have been shooting, you should have won, in double digits with how, number one, how not good this Rockets team is, and number two, how well you shot. So, definitely, even though the Pacers won, still a lot of issues with this team, no question about it. But definitely great to see them, like you said, make that come from behind win, hold on when it mattered, and ultimately come through and win. I mean, a win's a win at the end of the day, even if there are issues. But that's one thing I'm definitely concerned about, Derek, with this team. And maybe that's something they try to make here with the trade deadline looming in 2 days, getting more help, on the defensive end, getting more help with, securing rebounds, things like that. I'm not sure what they got to do, but I do know right now it's not working when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it, rebounding, especially as of the last couple weeks, has been really bad for the Pacers. Your leading rebounders tonight, Pascal Siakam and Obi Toppin with 4, Cody. 4
Wow.
rebounds. I want to just point out to the Houston side. They had 4 players who had more rebounds than either one of those guys. I mean, they had 2 guys that had double-digit rebounds. So, I mean, it is no doubt that the Pacers' greatest weakness is the boards. They don't rebound. They don't rebound. They don't protect the paint. If you're a team that understands that and you figure it out, that's going to be the Achilles heel for the Pacers for the remainder of the season, regardless if the Pacers make the playoffs. The reason why they will lose and ultimately downfall is because they can't attack the boards on the defensive end, especially. So that's going to definitely be the Achilles heel for this team. But like you said, you can only control what you can control right now. It's really good to see that the Pacers actually did take care of business. I do want to talk about some of the individual stats. It was great to see Tyrese Halliburton's minutes go up a little bit. We've seen the last couple weeks, it's been 20 minutes, 22 minutes, maybe 24 minutes. We heard yesterday or even earlier this morning that Halliburton could have went back in against the Charlotte Hornets a few days ago if they needed him in the fourth quarter. They just chose not to. And then to see him be at 29, it makes you think he's getting really close. So yeah, he finished with 18, 2 and 7. Miles Turner, another day where he had 21, 3 and 2. Also 2 blocks on the day. Neesmith, like you said, didn't have a great offensive performance. Wasn't overall bad at shooting the basketball, just wasn't quite the offensive day for him. Pascal Siakam, I mean, this guy has just been, he has clearly been the best player for the Pacers ever since he has gotten on the court for the Pacers. 29, 4 and 4 today. Shot, what was it, over 60% from the field and shot 67% from 3-point range. I mean, he has just been phenomenal. But the key aspect to this, Cody, for the reason the Pacers won, it was the bench. It was unbelievably so. It was the bench. And we were talking about it just the last couple days, Cody, where you and I were sitting here. We're talking about Obi Toppin, Buddy Hield, these guys, like, who's going to step up? Because all these guys are just not stepping up. And sure enough, outside of Shepherd, everyone on the bench was positive in the point differential today, Cody, off the bench. And Buddy Hield was the best one. He was a plus 11. So when he was on the court, the Pacers outscored the Rockets by 11. I mean, that's incredible. I just put out a video the other day saying, what's wrong with this dude? And then sure enough, he goes out, has one of his overall better performances of the last couple weeks, and shot very well. Shot 5 of 7 from the field, shot 50% from 3. Obi Toppin had himself, he only shot one time, but had 3 points and 4 assists and 4 rebounds. So he did his job with his 16 minutes. I'm more impressed with just how well the bench did for the Pacers in the positive department. Whereas if you look at it from the opposite side with the Rockets, their starting rotation was great, but their bench was terrible. And that's why the Pacers were able to win this.
Yep, absolutely. I already mentioned TJ McConnell as well. He finishes with 17 points in 19 minutes. That's pretty darn efficient overall. Yes. Jalen Smith, 9 points as well. So he continues to just be a really solid backup force there, at that power forward position. So definitely love to see that from Jalen Smith. But yeah, overall, guys, we know where the Pacers have been weak recently, but it's definitely great to see some of these guys that we needed to step up. If the Pacers were going to win this game, they needed some help from their bench. And great to see that from some of these players stepping up in the limited minutes they had and making the most of it. And so, again, there's issues with this team. We know that. But ultimately, the Pacers are winners, and they're still, Derek, right there in the thick of it, like you talked about, in the playoff hunt in the Eastern Conference. And, they're going to, have some more games coming up to potentially get better and potentially, improve their seeding. And so definitely great to see. And sometimes you just got to take care of these bad teams, even if the result isn't necessarily the prettiest result. Sometimes you just got to win these ugly games. And that's what the Pacers did in this, ugly from it, not a shooting perspective, but from a rebounding perspective. Sometimes you got to just do it. You got to win in some other ways. And so the Pacers were able to do it in this game. Definitely love to see how efficient pretty much everybody was tonight. So really great day from the Pacers shooting. We'll see what happens here, guys, in the next couple of days with the trade deadline looming. Are there some players here? I know some people said, is this the last day for a guy like Buddy Hield in a Pacer uniform? I'm not sure. We'll see what happens there. But overall, guys, let us know your thoughts here on the Pacers' latest win at home against the Houston Rockets. Let us know all that stuff in the comments below. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Pacers.